Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. This is episode 20, season 2. Why did I do that? All right. Happy Women's Day to all the beautiful ladies out there. And tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of woman empowerment as she has built a business around nurturing and developing young children. She is the founder of Little Charmers, which happens to be one of the top modeling agencies in South Africa for children and kids and teenagers between the ages of 0 to 18. Now, with just over 10 years of experience in modeling, coaching, as well as kids' fashion shows and also agency bookings, she realized that there is a huge need for confidence development in little children and teens. And therefore, she's launching the Confidence Academy. Ladies and gents, we're going to get into all of that. But tonight, we get to meet the woman behind all of this empowerment. So please welcome to the screen. She goes by the name of Shamara Gabriella.
Yay!
Good evening
Thank
to
you
you.
so much.
How are you doing, Shamara?
I'm good, Lunga. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Price of Fame. Truly awesome to have someone like you on the show. And I mean, because we've had some child stars before on the show. So
Yes, yes.
got some of the questions that we ask about the industry. So that's why we are so happy to have you here tonight to cover those gaps.
Amazing.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome,
Thank you for having me.
awesome stuff. All right. How's your day been? How's your day been? Has it been crazy like mine, or has it been kind of like manageable for you?
It's been a more chill day, I would say, compared to last week. It's been a good day.
Absolutely, yes. Let's try and maintain that energy for the rest of the week. I have a gig tomorrow, so I'm a
Exactly.
bit nervous trying out some new material. So I don't know how my day might start out, but hopefully it might end lovely.
Amazing. All the best.
Right, so Shamara, for most of us who don't know who you are, could you please tell us who is Shamara, and tell us a little about the Little Charmers and also how it's impact the industry.
Perfect. I am founder and managing member of Little Charmers Modeling and Casting Agency. Basically, the agency offers talented children and teenagers to the industry, where we give these kids and teens the opportunity to audition for various productions, such as TV commercials, short films, featured films, TV series. All that jazz. And as you mentioned, we are in the process of launching a new platform called Confidence Academy, where these talented children will be able to showcase themselves and their talents and their skills on the platform for a worldwide audience to view.
That's amazing. That's honestly amazing. And could you share some tips that parents could possibly look out there for that we can help ensure to have like a child developing a successful career?
Yes, Lunga. So, what we are trying to do is definitely raise the standards of the industry. And by doing this, we offer training to any candidate that is wanting to be in this industry that is over a certain age. Obviously, the little ones, it's a little bit difficult, more difficult to train them and teach them. But from about 5 years old, it's a good age. And yeah, we teach them what to expect, what will be expected of them. What's happening a lot that I'm finding is that we are not leveling up. We are not pulling up our socks. There's a lot of
Yeah.
agencies that are signing on kids, throwing them into the industry, sending them for casting calls, and the child literally is traumatized afterwards. They don't know what's going on, why they're there, what to do, what not to do. So I'm really hoping to start changing that and making sure that this is instilled.
Awesome. And what are some of the like on set I've seen before that usually sometimes when the parents can't assist the kid to the set, sometimes they have a guardian to assist, but the guardian can't always follow in all of the spaces. So what do you suggest because okay, let me paint a picture for you. I had this one time where I was doing an ad and I was playing a dad, okay? And usually, what I do to bond with the kid, because obviously I have to show that bond on camera. So, usually, what I do is I'll just ask them like random questions: what's their favorite food, those things that they know, and that could get them laughing or whatever. And then I use that technique to kind of like bond with them so that we go on camera, there's a bit of a natural feel. So, for other actors out there and other models out there who find themselves in a situation, because sometimes you meet the child on the day, so, and they give you like a couple of minutes to bond while they're setting up. So, what are some of the healthy tips that you could provide some of these models that, that will help them build a kind of connection to help build that relationship when they're on camera and also help the kid do its best?
Well, Luca, that's a good point that you made because you can't really teach that quality. Either the kid is made for the industry or they're not made for the industry. And I do try and always elaborate on this point without offending anybody or hurting anybody's feelings. But it is just the way it is. You get kids that are comfortable around strangers, that walk in the shops and want to say hi to everyone and have a conversation with everyone. And then you get the kids that are completely opposite, that hide behind parents and are not enjoying being in the limelight and in the spotlight. And this is where parents need to be aware if their child is enjoying this kind of thing or if they are made for the industry. And with that being said, it should come naturally to them when they are on set meeting someone. And hopefully they have a great co-star like yourself that will warm them up and make them feel a little bit more comfortable and confident.
Yeah. No, because the thing is like I don't want to look awkward and I don't want the child also to be awkward because I'm supposed to play a dad, so it's not like you're just a child's friend or someone taking care. So there has to be some kind of chemistry. So yeah, I always like try to make them laugh or just ask them silly questions. But you mentioned something that is very important and I'd like to actually touch on right now. You said something that some kids are meant for the industry and some aren't. What happens sometimes in a situation where the parent is kind of like trying to live through the child's dreams and kind of like force them to these castings or force them to be part of these things because they feel that the child is potential, but you can see, and as a professional yourself having modeling coaching, you can tell when a child is not interested. What are some of the effects of that kind of relationship?
Exactly, Lunga. When this is the reason why we've instilled such a strict or such strict processes behind the registration of the agency. Little Chalmers has become quite. Oh, sorry about that. Little Chalmers has become quite exclusive in terms of accepting children into the agency. And what we do is, if a child doesn't have any experience, there's only really one way for us to determine if they are ready for the industry or wanting to be in the industry, and that's where Confidence Academy comes in, where we will redirect the parents to encourage and recommend training before we can actually tell. And this way we also provide a feedback report that is quite accurate uh, in telling the parents what the realistic future is for that child. If we think that they're really good and an extrovert and want to do it, then with pleasure we will definitely provide them the opportunities to try out and see how it goes, and then take it one step at a time. But if a child isn't ready yet, they can upskill themselves a little bit more by participating in more photo shoots, let's say, or drama classes, or things that are going to help them to develop that skill.
Mhm. What would you say? What is a child star's schedule? What does the schedule look like?
So look, at this depends. I mean, if a child is booked, it depends on what they've been booked for. So if a child is booked for a TV commercial, usually that's about a one maximum 2 day shoot, which isn't really too hectic. It doesn't really change up their schedule a lot with school and things like that. But if they are confirmed or booked for, let's say, a movie, this can be a shoot anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks of shooting. It can also include some travel sometimes, and it is quite a hectic schedule. With this, when these opportunities happen and the kid is on set for quite a long period of time, they do also have tutors on set which can help with schoolwork so that the child doesn't fall behind, because at the same time, the child needs to also know that the education is important as well. So that helps a lot. And also strict schedules on set. So
Yeah.
time, breakfast time, lunch time, rest time, time to go over lines and that kind of thing. So it varies, but the schedules are pretty hectic when they are on a long shoot.
Yeah. I'm remembering now at this one ad I did with this little kids, and I think I think kids have like a certain time where their day cuts off, when you can't like use them any longer than, for example, 2 to 3 hours. You can actually answer that. But yeah, there was this time when we were trying our best to like get everything out of this one kid, because he was starting to like feel like, I don't want to do this anymore, because he was picking up like why we keep doing the same thing over and over, and he was just feeling like, he was feeling a little restless. So is there a time limit for kids on set, or could they do like a shift now and then go rest and then come back and do another shift later, or is it only recommended for a certain period of time for them?
I'm actually so, so, so glad that you asked this question, because a lot of parents are unaware of this. And what happens is there are child labor laws. So, depending on the child's age, that is determines the amount of hours that they are able to work on set. Now, I get a lot of uh, submissions and parents coming to me and saying, my child's 3 years old, but they actually look 6 years old, and it's perfect. And can they try out for clothing brands for 6-year-olds? And they don't understand that it is not possible. The children in the industry that are most wanted are ones that look younger than their age, because obviously they can stay on set for longer hours, they understand a little bit more, they can learn lines a lot better and quicker, but at the same time, they are playing a role that is much younger than their actual age. And this is called a playing age for people that don't know.
Yeah. And what are some of the benefits of starting, a child's career at a really tender age?
So, Lunga, I think it's always good to start, the younger the better. But again, I need to make the point that if the child is not enjoying it, you need to understand that and be aware of that. Starting off at a young age, although the opportunities are super, super limited, I mean, from about 4 years old, it starts to pick up. But if you do start your child at a young age, at least they will start to get used to the industry. They will start to get used to the camera. They'll start to get used to being around strangers. And again, they can see how it goes and see if they are enjoying it. And, you never know. It might change. They might start to enjoy it more. They might start to end up hating it. But at least you can monitor that yourself if you do start at a younger age,
Mhm.
or start your
And I
child at a younger age.
I also think it's like pretty cool, the idea of them just like them understanding that at a young age they're doing something, they're working for their money, So like they can at the end of the year, I don't know, like I would have this conversation with my kid if I put them through the industry. I'll let them know that this money that you're working for is either gonna help with your studies, or it can help with the gifts that you want, or whatever you want to purchase, so they know that they're working towards something. Teach them a little bit of leadership skills at a very tender age. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, they don't have so much responsibilities as kids, so they can save up so much money. And with the rates,
Exactly.
do the rates differ? Like, for example, like for a lead, let's say for an ad, let's say for Pip, it's a Pip ad, and the lead gets 4K, and I don't know if I'm overstepping now speaking about rates, so please put me in my place if I am.
No, 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 not at all. Look, at the way that the rates work, it's also dependent on what the production is. So, for instance, usually there are, and I just say usually because obviously some circumstances can change. With movies, it's completely different. They get a call rate and we won't even go into that. But generally, with the local TV commercials, there's normally two rates. So the first rate is your day rate, and a day rate is always guaranteed. And this is what the child will be paid for being on set that day and working, right? And then the second fee that's involved is the usage fee. So the usage fee is what differs according to what mediums the commercial or the advertisement will be playing on. In other words, if it's only on TV, there will be one amount. If it's on TV and internet, let's say, or digital usage, it's a different amount. If they're deciding to put it up on a big billboard, it's also obviously an additional usage. So it all does depend. And also if it's an international job or if it's a local job. So there's a lot of different factors that we have to take into account when it comes to rates. But my advice would be, for the parent not to really think of the rates, especially when they're starting off, because you could get a job that pays quite a bit, or you could get a job that doesn't really pay that well. But for me, I think the experience is what makes a difference and what matters in the long run. Having as much experience as possible is really going to help in future with other casting calls and other opportunities and things like that.
And in the day rate, let's say it's a scene or it's an ad where it's like, again, a father example. I'm a father and I have a kid with me, and we both
Mhm.
shooting amount of time. I rap with he raps, we rap at the same time. Is and it's the same amount of feature time or whatever. With the day rate, would there be a difference between an adult fee and a kid's fee? I mean,
Yes,
especially
so
the
there is a difference because with adults, remember they can film for a full day, and with kids it's a little bit less with the hours. So there definitely is a difference, and I would say almost half, not exactly half, but there is quite a substantial difference with an adult and a child rate.
yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I have beautiful nieces, like, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased and you're like, every uncle says this. Honestly, because they African and American. My
Oh
brother lives in
wow.
Boston, a woman in Boston, and they have two little beautiful girls. So they have that beautiful mixed race speeches. And
Amazing.
I like from the beginning, I told him like you have to get these kids into the industry. And her main concern was that she doesn't want these kids to develop some kind of complex or become narcissists or have any kind of like, identity crisis growing up because they feel that there is some kind of harmful side to the industry and they're just protecting the kids. What do you say to someone like that who has that fear and that will probably help encourage them to maybe give the kids a chance?
So, there's always that fear with parents. I mean, dealing with kids, you have to be really, really cautious and safe. What I do tell the parents is, safety first. If they do have, let's say, social media accounts and things like that for the kids, which there are a lot of parents that do really want to do this and like to, start a brand for their child from a young age. I think, never ever put any information that can actually lead somebody directly to the child. So the school or let's say a live story of exactly where you are. Don't put your location up, things like that. But other than that, there are laws and rules and regulations and things that do protect the kids in the sense, but they should feel comfortable if they are with a good agency, because the agency at the end of the day is going to look after that child and want only the best for that child. So the agent's job is to make sure that everything is happening correctly, that certain guidelines are being followed, and that the child is not being taken advantage of or exploited in any way.
That's really good. And how do you spot a child star? Like I'm sure you've seen quite a few kids and be like, wow, this kid would do so amazing in this industry. So what does it take, to have that eye, or what do you see when you see a child with potential?
Well, Lunga, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, I think we've all spotted a child star or aspiring child star at some point. It's the kids that are the ones that are really extroverted. It's the kids that are not shy at all. It's the kids that have no fear, basically. You know, the ones that are just going for it all the time, not only with acting or drama or anything, just even on the playground. I mean, you can see those kids that have the edge, you know, that X factor. And it's quite easy to tell. But again, you know, with this being said, it can change. Society in general does dampen the confidence of children. And this is why I think the development is so important. You know, as they grow, because if you don't develop and nurture it and carry on, you know, giving them activities and sending them for classes of things that are going to help the development, then they can lose that. And this is what I also find is that sometimes children do really, really well when they're, let's say, 6, 7 years old. And as they start to get older, you can see the confidence levels depleting and them becoming affected by society and by things like this.
And like with Little Charmers, I see that you guys represent kids from the ages of birth to 18. Is
Yeah.
there a reason why you cut it off at 18, or and you don't work with adult models, or do you just have a, is it because you just have a passion for little kids?
Exactly, Lunga. I think that specializing in children is a much is a niche market, and there's not a lot of people that are able to deal with kids and understand kids. So I've been given a certain gift, I would say, I would hope. And for me, you know, I think I need to, like I mentioned in the beginning, is just, you know, raise the standards, level up, and make sure that the kids are being looked after and that things are being done properly.
And you guys have been around for like 10 years or just over 10 years, right? And you've been doing your thing. What are some of the challenges behind the scenes that you've um, seen, especially developing your thing, your Little Charmers, you know? So, what are some of the challenges that you've experienced? And what are some of the challenges that you kind of experience on a day-to-day basis as well?
Well, Lunga, too many to mention, I think definitely. But as with any business, I think there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be challenges and obstacles to overcome. For me, the most important thing is when you do overcome anything that gets thrown at you, that you learn from that and that you take that lesson with you to move forward. Because it doesn't help to have problems and then have the same problems again. So I've just learned that whatever problems and issues and challenges and obstacles that we may face, as long as we're learning from those and moving forward and understanding what was the issue and what caused these kinds of these problems or challenges, then that's the most important thing. It's just learning.
And in your 10 years of experience in this industry, working with kids, you know, like you said, it's a niche market. So a lot of spaces you kind of had to stand up for yourself, or things were quite a bit new to you and new to the industry. So do you think that they've done a lot of development in your experience? You know, has the industry developed a lot, or is it still kind of the same place where it started? And are there some kind of healthy changes that you think that could be implemented to improve the industry for little kids?
So, Lunga, I'm fortunate enough that I actually was involved in the industry myself also as a child. So, you know, my mom went through the whole thing and we kind of could see the problems from back then. And sadly, I must say that, you know, it hasn't changed a lot. And this is what's also motivated me to launch Confidence Academy and to really create that awareness and instill these rules with the agency, because I do want it to start changing and I do want it to start becoming better and not bruising kids' egos for no reason, you know, and traumatizing them in the long run. I think definitely slowly but surely, hopefully, we'll get to that point. But yeah, that's we'll have to wait and see.
Awesome. Well, look, it looks like we've come to the end of our interview. But before I end this off, I have to ask you my question that I ask every single guest on the show.
Yeah.
And you've made success with your career. And today's Women's Month. Happy Women's Day to you, actually. And
Thank you, Luga.
for other before other up and coming women, who want to empower, go into businesses or start something that is kind of like a niche, it's kind of as a niche, that kind of have a niche kind of place in the industry, what would you say for young entrepreneur females who are trying to do something that you did, not necessarily maybe doing an agency, but just the idea of starting something based on your passion and going with it? What kind of advice do you have for young females?
Good question. I would say that it takes a lot of patience, a lot of patience, determination, definitely, and just standing your ground, standing for what you believe in, not taking shortcuts, and not allowing people's opinion to influence your movement. I would say, just keep at it, and time will definitely tell and make sure that whatever you are doing, if you are super passionate about it and you love it, it should definitely work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in my time machine right now, and I'm gonna dial it back to a very younger version of yourself, Shamara. Maybe a
Yeah.
time when you just walked into the industry, or maybe at the moment when you realize that you need to become a lot more in the industry. By the time where it was a younger version of yourself, and you just needed some guidance or some help, or some advice. And it's the version of you today, having walked the journey that you've walked, having gathered the wisdom, having making the mistakes and learned all the lessons that you've learned. I'm going to give you 5 minutes with a younger version of yourself to give some guidance. What would that be?
Um, I would say don't take things personally. I've got a funny story. Well, not so funny. I was about 8 years old, I think, and I went for a casting. I was auditioning for a role in a movie. And when I went into the casting room, the casting director was not a very nice lady. She was actually very mean. And I won't mention any names because she still does work. And another day, it's for another time. But basically, I did my audition and she turned around and she said to me, never. She said, you have definitely done drama and your acting is way too dramatic and you will never be in a movie. And for me being 7 years old, I was completely shattered. I walked out of that audition. I was in tears, and I had my mom to tell me, you know what? Don't worry about what people say about you or think about you. At the end of the day, if you believe in yourself and you have a good support system, you should be fine. So, my advice to my younger self is do not take things too personally. I know sometimes it's difficult, but try not to because it's only the opinions of others. It doesn't make
That,
you who you are.
yeah, that is so true. And wow, what a mean lady! Like you're 7 year old.
Mean!
Can you say
I'm
never?
telling you!
I was like,
Mean!
so
You see,
this is like,
this is why I
wow.
need to prepare these kids because there are going to be tough times. And parents also need to understand this that it's not all rainbows and butterflies. There will be times that kids are going to get disappointed. And it's natural, we're all human and we do get upset for things. But like I said, I mean, a good support system really makes a huge difference. And yeah, as long as the parents are in it with the kids, because the schedule for parents also becomes quite hectic if they do decide to take the journey. But also for them, patience, determinations, perseverance, they just need to stick to it. There's no quick fix, as long as you are riding the waves and you know that you're with a good agency and all of the stuff is always up to date and you're ready for the time, then you should be good.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Shamara. And I really, really enjoyed my
Thank you.
time having a chat with you. Thank you so much for opening us and making us a lot aware of what the industry is like, and also what's the importance, especially when it comes to nurturing the little children's career. So thank you so much for showing some. Like I said, we've had kids on before, but they could never obviously cover these important things that you just covered tonight. And I hope that my sister-in-law and
And
my
those
brothers.
kids are both from our agency, just so you know. All the child stars come from Little Charmers.
Absolutely. I hope my sister-in-law and my brothers watching, so they could learn something from this and maybe consider putting their kids also through the industry with the necessary support, like you spoke of. Shamara, is there anything that you feel like you want to share that maybe I didn't get an opportunity to ask you a question on that you feel is very vital, or maybe any shout outs? Really up to you.
I think you really did a great job in covering, quite a lot of topics that are involved with the industry. But, just to end off from my side, to parents that are interested and are wanting to get their kids into the industry, just to remember that again, there's no quick fix. If you are wanting to do this, I know all kids are absolutely gorgeous. There's not one child that is an ugly child, okay? All kids are gorgeous. But they need to have that X factor and that edge and that little bit extra. So if the parents are willing to stick it out, then great. But if they're not and they're not prepared to do that, then they shouldn't even bother.
Mm. It's like what you said early on, it helps when the parents actually put the kids in some extra mural activities because that's going to bring out the personality in them. And that's what we need on camera. Everyone can look amazing, but we need that personality, we need the kid to play with the ball or play with whoever and connect. So, yeah, it's very, that's
Confidence. That's just
Mm,
confidence. It's just being sure of what they're doing. So that's why with the training, they go into a casting call knowing what to expect, knowing how to act, and what to do. What is the casting directors going to ask them? They understand the questions because they feel confident because they have trained for that.
absolutely. Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. If you are looking to have your child pursue in this industry, at Little Charmers, because they don't just give the opportunities, they also provide the necessary skills and guidance and nurturing that will help your child be a successful child star. You heard it tonight. You saw the beautiful lady tonight. Holla at her. She is with the Little Charmers, ladies and gents. And also with that, you have the Confidence Academy. Like I said, so for socials, please let us know where we can possibly find you, or like what's the name where we can the website idea or address, sorry, the website address where we can check out some of the kids that's on your portfolio and things like
Exactly.
that.
So, Lunga, our website is www.littlecharmersa.co.za. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, it is littlecharmers_SA and Confidence Academy _SA. We look forward to your follow and to keep educating parents around the globe.
Awesome stuff. Shamara, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
At this
you.
point, say good night to you, but thank you so much for being a guest on The Price of Fame. I truly had fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Lunga. Have a lovely evening.
See you. Good night.
Bye.
Well, there you have it from Shamara Gabriella, ladies and gents, from the Little Charmers. And like I said, if you want your kids to pursue a career in this industry, they are the right people to speak to because they don't only provide the opportunities, but they also provide the guidance, which is most important and is key to having a successful career with a child star. All right, that's it from me, ladies and gents. For those of you who are not following me just yet, you can catch me on Facebook at Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. On Instagram, you can catch me at Lunga Tshuka. And for exclusive snippets of the Price of Fame, you can also catch it on Instagram at the Price of Fame ZA. And then the link in the bio will take you straight to my YouTube page where you will catch the extended episodes. And when you get there, please like, share, and subscribe. For those of you guys who prefer the audio versions of these podcasts, You can also catch it. You can find them on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor FM. And for those of you who have seen some of the interviews where we had voice notes coming through, you can do that on Anchor FM. If you want to ask our guests that we are featuring on the Price of Fame, if you want to ask them a question, go to Anchor FM, give us a voice note, and we'll play it in the interview. That's it from me, ladies and gents. May you have a lovely night further, and may you eat your supper and take care of your kids and let them know there are amazing opportunities out there. I'm out. My name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host. This is The Price of Fame.
Hi, I'm comedian Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny, streaming live with my special guest on the Price of Fame podcast. We feature entertainment professionals on the show and find out what sacrifices were made to reach their level of success. Look forward to learning about how our guests have overcome mental health challenges, achieved success breakthroughs, what you need to know about the industry, and how you know when you actually have a talent that needs to be shared with the world. Take these episodes as your personal mentorship guidance on how to be a successful entertainer. We chat to those who have made it in South Africa and abroad. Let's make the SA entertainment industry the most supported by locals, because local talent is liquor talent. Subscribe now to keep up to date. You can also find us on all social platforms.